Oh, hi everyone. How are you? I'm going to apologize in advance because you keep hearing this beeping and it says backhoe. And the funny story behind it is that I live in an area where they're still building the homes. The whole neighborhood isn't completed. And when I moved in last year, I kept seeing this neighbor, and he would like take a wrapped up tarp and walk it to this yard, this whole like lot that was, not built on yet. And he'd take this freaking rolled up tarp that looked like a freaking body. And I'd be watching him, I'm like, what am I witnessing here, right? And then I'd watch him and he'd dump it out. Well, what he was doing was he was dumping all of the dog shit. So he'd take all the dog shit out of his yard, put it in like buckets in his shed, and then pour them on a tarp, and then wrap this tarp like a freaking body. And then when it was nighttime, when he thought no one else could see, apparently, but I'm the watcher in the window, I'd see him like go with this tarp and he'd dump all of the dog shit over into the lot that had not been built upon yet. So when somebody bought this lot to make their house, it started building. Well, the man continued to dump the dog shit, right? They've been working on this one forever, this house. I think it must be a stock one because the ones that people have actually bought go up a little quicker. So what they do when they build now is they push all of the dirt to the side and they take out, some of what they build in the basement and everything, but they keep all of your natural dirt and everything. So what is native to the land stays there, whatever. So you hear this backhoe because these poor sons of bitches cannot get that lot to level out. Every other lot levels out because the same amount of dirt is there. They can't get this to level out, and it probably smells like dog shit because there is so much dog shit over there, and they keep trying to go and trying to go. So I've been hearing this poor thing back up, and I keep seeing these poor construction workers just getting so frustrated because they can't get it level. They don't know what's going on, and I'm just going, But I bet you that those people will, number one, have, never understand the smell they have when they come inside, right? People smell dog shit, but they'll probably have the greenest lot of anybody. People will be like, how is your lawn so lush and green? They'll be like, oh, because I do this and that. And no. Because, see, dog shit is actually really good fertilizer because, you see, long going far away in one of my rental homes, I rented to this chick, and she had these two dogs. And she was really nice and everything, and I took a dog deposit, and she seemed normal, but so many dog owners really do just trash the property, and she did, and she didn't like that. At the end I charged her for all the damage. She was pissed off, but I'm sorry, ma'am, but week one your dogs ruined the frickin' yard. Well, then when I had to recarpet everything. Well, I was fixing the yard, and I noticed that my begonias were more beautiful and robust than ever before. And I used to put fertilizer and everything. I did the trick, putting a copper penny and everything, trying to make the color come, and nothing would make these begonias just pop. But they did, and I lifted up, what do you know, Mount Dog shit underneath the begonia bush. So I know that they're wonderful fertilizers. And so, yeah, that's what you're going to hear. You're going to keep hearing this backhoe because that's it. So our wonderful Jules across the pond, she's not feeling so good. She's having an active, her IBS is acting up, which causes her bladder issues to act up. I believe she has interstitial cystitis like I do. I have IBS, I have interstitial cystitis, I have Crohn's, I have congestive heart failure, I have fibromyalgia, I have too many things to count, right? I mean, I have over 30 actual diagnoses that there's no question that my doctor does not want me to work, has not wanted me to work, in the past. I think probably 18 years ago was when I first got the lecture that no, you're not working anymore. But I've had to continue to work as I can, as the bills mount up and whatnot, because despite my overwhelming and massive amounts of documentation I lost. I didn't get disability. My attorneys had never seen anything like it in their life. The vocational expert that the state hired stood there and certified that there was no job that I was safe to do based on my diagnoses, especially the fact that I have over 90% damaged and missing nerves from my lower calves to my toes. I can't feel my feet at all. So when I go to a job and I have to do ladders and everything, yeah. So I just shut my mouth when I get a job and fall all the time and don't put it on L&I and just work as long as I can until I invariably get fired. But anyway, so it makes me sick when an idiot like LBL gets SSI and lives off of it for decades when she's clearly able-bodied, and because she can get up and go every day. If I could get up and go like her every day, I'd be a happy lady. You know what I mean? I mean, she can get up and go and buy and return and buy and return and go and buy herself food every day, sit for 6 hours talking on the phone at people, screaming and yelling at animals. I mean, come on, that takes a lot. I believe the only reason that she got it is because she does have that lawyer for a relative that, she hates now because he really called her out. But I believe that back then she had a good relationship with him, and, there was money to be made. There's money to be made if you're an attorney and you have a family member or anybody who you want to get them on disability, especially back then, like probably when she got on in the 80s, there's a very low threshold. You basically had to have one thing wrong. Now, what we forget to realize is that she's got a myriad of personality disorders and biological disorders. So she's got bipolar, she's got histrionic, she's got borderline, she's got narcissistic personality disorder. So she has, the ones that are learned, and she has the biological. So those are what got her the SSI. Okay, and that's what we have to remember. We have to remember that she'll sit there and say it was because of this or that. No, it wasn't. She won't admit all of the psych diagnoses that she has because, she sits there and talks about her mad love for herself and how much in love she is with herself and how she's so flawless. She will never admit all of the psychological diagnoses she has. Now, she will admit to depression, and she has slipped up and said she has bipolar, but she will not talk about the fact that she is a diagnosed narcissist, sociopath, histrionic, bipolar, with suicidal ideation, and she is also an addict. She is an alcoholic. She's talked about the fact that she's an alcoholic, and she's on 4 different classifications of pills that are not supposed to be prescribed together at all. You're supposed to be able to have one right now, and then it's supposed to be strictly monitored. So we don't know what she's doing, but she's obviously lying about something, because she said on 2 different videos lately that she went to the urologist. She talks so weird and just it really emphasize the G on things and just talk weird. She's the urologist, like the rest of us say urologist. She's a urologist. Well, she talked about it on 2 different videos, saying that it was the day before. And if you don't know the history, she started, bitching and complaining about her bladder a few years ago, right? And so they did the whole workup, and ultimately, when they did the cytoscopy, they showed a small area of irritation on her bladder. And so it was a technical diagnosis of interstitial cystitis. And so it's like he said, you have an area of irritation, which could be this. And she was filming him and just went with it. And it's suspect because she's not on the medications in which they would honestly prescribe. So whether or not she's actually getting the installations is something I don't totally believe. I guess she did videotape herself getting one before. Now with my interstitial cystitis, my bladder hemorrhages. So like there was a long time where I could not get on an airplane or anything because my bladder could burst on its own. I have a high risk of the bladder bursting on its own. I have to continually be able to urinate, and if I can't, then I have to self-cath, and because there's active bleeding blisters inside of my bladder that they bleed, and if I don't continually drink enough water and pee, so if I get an illness that dehydrates me at all, then that really starts backing up, and it's horribly painful, and I'll have to have them irrigate the blood clots out of my bladder to be able to pee again, and I'll have to keep a catheter in for a few days. One of the worst things for interstitial cystitis is coffee. And I am an offender. And so I try to only, have one coffee, probably 3 to 4 times a week. I really like, feeling more awake with the caffeine, but it's always going to really hurt my bladder. They used to have these pills called Preleaf, and so you'd take them for the bladder pain before. Now there is an amazing product that's over the counter, and it's called Azo. And I know everybody's like, yeah, the stuff that turns your pee orange. No, Azo has a full line of products, and there's one brand, or there's one variety of it, and it's actually highly concentrated pumpkin seed oil. So it's called Azo Pumpkin, and it's got like the deep pumpkin on the label, and it says Azo Pumpkin weight control and go less. Okay, so what it does is, I think that it's just got the pumpkin oil concentrated enough in the capsule that it absorbs slowly enough to get into the bladder tissue itself, and the magnesium calms the bladder lining. It works better than anything I've ever been prescribed. I've been prescribed the Elmeron and, the top drugs. I've done the installations. I've, done everything. But nothing really helped. And then just on a whim, I was like, well, why not just try this? And I think the directions are to take 2 pills a day for the first 3 weeks, and then 1 every 2, something like that, right? Well, I received such relief in the first pill I took. Like within 4 hours, I had relief from my bladder. My bladder will feel like a sewing machine, just sewing on itself. It's just that nonstop chig, 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 and having to go to the bathroom, every 3 freaking minutes, and just that spasming and hurt and pain. And it's listed as one of the most painful human conditions. It's actually very rare. So I'm kind of wondering what the correlation is. It seems like that there's a lot of us with fibro and IBS that also have the bladder thing. But, if I'm talking to anybody else who's suffering, even with bladder spasms, get that Azo. That is look for it, the pumpkin seed oil. It'll say Azo Pumpkin Go Less Weight Control. It's, gosh, I want to say I think it's like $30 on Amazon, but that's like 2 months worth. And see, here's the thing, is that I can take it now as needed. I can go a week without needing one, and then I'll eat something, or a pizza with a little bit too much tomato sauce. It was too acidic or whatever, and just it'll start my bladder acting up, juice, anything like that will just start it kicking back up. And then I can just take one, and within a few hours it will be good, and then I'll just take it, and it's amazing. It works better. There's D-mannose, there's probiotics, there's all these things out there that you're supposed to take for the bladder pain. And I'm telling you, this stuff is freaking magic, and it's over the counter. So please, anybody who's suffering, give it a try. But something about what she said just really is not true. She's going into great detail about the installation. And she said they put a catheter in there and they drain it out your urine and then they put it in. Bullshit. They do not. And they tell you to go to the bathroom. You go to the bathroom right before, and then they put it in. To do otherwise would be putting a backflow, because if they catheterized you to drain the urine and then push something back in, you'd be pushing back in bacteria-ridden urine. Like I say, for me, I mean, they have me go and empty completely, and then they put a catheter in and install the installation. That's why I call it installation. They put, I think it's MDSO, something, methyl, so blah, blah, blah. I don't know. She called it heparin. So I don't know why, but they don't drain it. So I think I don't know. Nothing she says, but now that I've said it, she'll probably sit there and film the whole thing the next time she gets it. But the other thing it was suspect, is she said that she hadn't had any problems since she's got to Arizona with her. So she has not had any installation these years, right? That she's been there. So 2 years? The interstitial cystitis has not bothered her enough to go to a urologist. And then, it started bothering her this one night. So then the very next day, she got in and got an installation. That doesn't happen. That just does not happen. I mean, anybody who, waits for a specialist knows that you do not have a little twingle of something, not have established care with a specialist. She's not established the care with a specialist, or we all know it. And then get in the very next day, plus for an installation. The installations take quite a bit of time, so it takes a nurse to, be dedicated to the one patient. You have to see the specialist, have them order it. It just is very suspect for what she's saying. Okay, here it is, real short. I think it's bullshit. I think she's lying. I think she's trying to get more sympathy. So she's up to something. So something ain't adding up. And with that being said, Jules, I hope you are feeling better. I'm really sorry. I do know that, like, for me, the IBS and the bladder thing really play on each other, because the inflammation from both the colon and the bladder kind of play on each other. Like, for me, it'll feel like when I was pregnant and having babies kick, my bladder. The two are so intertwined, but the colon and the bladder are just right there next to each other. So I really hope that you can find this on Amazon and get the pumpkin seed oil, and I hope you can find relief on both. And once again, Jules, thank you for all of the hard work that you're doing. It really is getting to the people in a way that nothing has ever done. From all of the years that the Gossip Bakery has been up and the millions of posts, Jules is doing more, is getting more people to listen and see what is going on than all of those posts in the Gossip Bakery, than all of the sites that have been put up, than every relative that she's had. I mean, in less than a month, Jules is kicking ass, and we're literally taking names. This one bitch came out of the woodwork, straight from LBL, and her name was like Cum something, or Scum Cum Maria, I don't know, Cum something. And she came straight out and went on Jules' page and said, "Show your face, bitch." Straight up like that. And I'm looking at her name like Scum Cum Maria, something like that. And I went on her page, and I was able to then find her TikTok. This bitch just looked ugly. She looked ugly and smelly and dirty. Typical. I don't think that, the Lardites are into showering much or being clean. She just looked, she looked scummy, and she looked smelly. And she said, "I don't see what you're talking about. Prove what you're saying." And so Jules, being the lady she did not give in to anger, and linked a few videos that really illustrate what we're talking about. And me, being the, not most patient person in the world, was like, "Okay, cum scum, why don't you show your face? Cum scum, don't come at Jules. Do not come at Jules telling her to show her face. She does show her face, scum cum." Well, anyway, mysteriously enough, Scummy Cum vanished off the internet. She took off her comments and left. Like, she didn't block us both, because I have a few other profiles, let's just say that, and the bitch isn't on the internet anymore. But the fact that she had an actual TikTok and showed her face makes me realize it was, makes me really think it was not LBL. I mean, obviously a lot of the stuff comes from LBL, but no, this cum scum was an actual dirty bitch. So who knows? I mean, a lot of people are really starting to see what's going on. And they're like, oh. I mean, like, for me, I am subscribed to so many people. I've been on the YouTube for, how many years? Maybe 8 years. And I have subscribed to so many people that, like, there could be a situation like this, and I'm subscribed, and people are probably like, why are you subscribed to this person who's done this and that? And I wouldn't know, because there was something about their channel that drew me to them at one point, and I subscribed so I would come back. Same with her, because she put out, she went and tried to get everybody with fibromyalgia, everybody who wears makeup, everybody who wears nail polish, everybody who's into ASMR, everybody who's into dogs, everybody who's into puppies, everybody who's into birds, everybody who's into reptiles, everybody who's into tattoos, everybody who breathes, everybody who's into mukbang, everybody who lives on the West Coast, everybody who's had weight loss surgery. She really went, and would just go on these tangents and hashtag to get people from all of these different areas, and they would go, and then they probably didn't come back because whatever, but they're still subscribed. So right now, while this is going on, and she is an idiot because she went and just was like, oh yeah, now there's this whole channel, and yeah, go over there, go expose. So they're going over there, and they're seeing this great conversation between a lot of us like-minded, really intelligent group of people having nice conversations back and forth with each other, while we're noticing this abhorrent, obnoxious behavior. And so she's sending them over. Then they have no choice but to see what we're talking about. And you think they're going to then defend her and say that, yeah, I defend this? Her actions are indefensible. Except with dumbass Herma. Herma is, I don't know if she's brain damaged or what, but Herma actually believes that LLD1 and LBL collaborate. Okay? As LBL copies everything, she copies LLD1. That's it. LLD1 would not be seen dead with this creature, okay? Now, LBL was talking about a foundation or something, and Herma says, oh, do you know what LLD1's review is on this one? Like, it shows Herma actually believes that D1 and LBL collaborate. Okay? No. And Herma is so... She sat there, went into her apartment, went along with everything that LBL said, because of course she's not going to contradict her. She's like, do I smell good? Is my apartment clean? Are my animals taken care of? And, and Herma's like, yes, yes, yes. Well, Herma could actually see that the dogs had not been worked with at all. They weren't trained in any way. And she started going, show me your hand. Give me your hand, doofus. Give me your hand, doofus. And the dog couldn't even do that because it's clear that there's been no really working with or training with doofus or any animal that she actually has. It's all for show, and it is all for show. So LBL started getting frustrated with her and bossy, and she was like, okay, just stop that. Just stop that. He's not going to give his hand. He's not going to give his hand. Well, then that LBL was like, oh, I guess that's something that I should do. So then she goes and does this thing. Oh, it's going to go viral. Give me your hand, doofus. Give me your paw. Give me your paw. Give me your paw. And it was like something so big that it was like the one thing that she's ever been able to do with a dog. And Herma can't make this connection that, wow, this wasn't even anything that she'd ever thought to do. I go and do it. She bosses me and tells me not to do it. And then she does it to try and get views. And Herma's down with that? Yeah. Okay. All right. There you go, Herma. And then, I mean, D1 supposedly recommended key sunglasses to LBL. Okay? QUAY. You know, when I worked at Nordstrom years ago, they sold them like on the junior section. They were not in the high-end section where I sold sunglasses. Okay? They weren't the Tom Fords. They weren't anything. Okay? They were, I think we started, I don't even think we had, they were like in the junior section or something, right? And they were, I think they're from Australia. There was a couple of styles that were kind of cute, but the one that LBL has on, she says D1 recommended to her, they look like frickin' blue blockers. I mean, come on. There is no one that's gonna, okay, do you know how ridiculous she looks on any given day? And now she has on the most butt ugly sunglasses that you could ever see, and she's going around like, oh yeah, look at my queef glasses. Yeah, they're queef. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go through that. I want coffee, but I don't want Starbucks. I don't want Dunn Brothers. I don't want that kind of coffee. I'm gonna go to another coffee, and I'm gonna go with my queef glasses. And people are gonna be like, what kind of glasses are there? And I'm gonna be like, they're queef. Yeah. At least Lisa D1 recommended them to me. Don't they look good on me? Yeah. Do you know her? Yeah. Yeah. And what do you have to eat? Yeah, because she did that. After she said she didn't want Starbucks or Dunn Brothers, she went to a freaking coffee. She's probably gotten ran off by all those other places. She goes to a freaking coffee shop. And you know how she is. She can't talk and like be like, oh, hi, yeah, sure, how are you today? Well, thank you. You know, I'm kind of like thinking I want a little something a little sweet. What do you have? Well, she can't do that. She goes up, she's like, what kind of food do you have? You don't have any food. You only have the muffin tops. I mean, and listening to this bitch say muffin top, I'm like, oh my God, just like you have a muffin top, ma'am. I don't know if they have muffin tops, but you certainly do. You look like a freaking pack of Pillsbury biscuits. Did you see her modeling herself around on her Instagram? She's sitting there, because now there's this new little thing where even if we're blocked from her Instagram, we can see her now. She put on basically a tent cover, this black tent cover, and some super tight leggings. And so her like twattage is like all up and like looks like the Michelin Man with like a tent cover and this black tent cover. And she's like sitting there doing like all the Vogue posing. Like, you know how she thinks she can dance? She thinks she can pose too. So she's like doing all these poses and everything with this freaking black tent cover and her leggings. And the tent cover is kind of see-through, and so every once in a while you just see the muffin top and the fupa, and honestly it looks like a freaking thing of biscuits about ready to pop. Like if she would have leaned to the right or the left, it would have, I'm not kidding. But anyway, she's in the coffee thing, and they're all like, oh, I like your sunglasses. Like, you know, behind the scenes they're like, oh my god, you have to come and see this. Go look at her and tell her you like the glass. Go look at this bitch's glasses. Go look at them. And they're like, oh, hi, yeah, oh, I like your glasses. And, you know, everybody else is just like bent over, like about to die laughing, right? And then she's like starts hollering, is that the only food you have? How are the muffin tops? And they're like, ma'am, I don't know, answer your own question. Every time you put your jeans on, you got a muffin top right there above your belt line, ma'am. But anyway, she's like, is that the only food you have? Oh, yeah. I mean, can you imagine how ridiculous she looks? His butt ugly sunglasses look like blue blockers. In her ridiculous clown car that she's so fat she can't even shut the top on, right? She can't even peel the top. That's why she has to have a car with the top off, because she can't fit in an actual car. So it's like she's just got to have the wheels. She looks like fucking Fred Flintstone going down the freaking road, right? And she takes up like the whole front unit, like, you know, yeah, there's the driver and the passenger. Well, there's the Lori seat, right? And so there's the Lori seat and no top on the car. And she goes around and pedals herself through town with her Fred Flintstone feet, right? Screaming at the independent coffee shop, is that the only food you have? You know, they're like, oh my God, frickin' Gilbert Grape's mom or whatever. I mean, they're like, how did you get out? Or are the wheels attached to you at this point? Do they just put wheels on the bottom of her? And she just goes around like that? and just rolls around from one place to the next. Like she said at the KFC, we all heard her. She won't get out for anything, and she'll drive around the block, and she'll drive around the block, and she will not get out for anything. You know she has to park right up front, too. God knows she's not going to burn any calories on purpose. Oh, so anyway. Oh, did you see that animal services video? Jules redid it. And, yeah. If you go to the animal services one, if you go to minute marker 28 minutes and 46 seconds in, that's when you're going to see where her son says some things that are very upsetting. And you all know that I have great compassion for him, and I believe that he's going to do well the further he is away from her. But when she's there and her influence is there, he says stupid things and very rude things. And if you go to the animal services one where the animal services man just left, and you go to that video and you go to 28 minutes and 46 seconds, you will hear her son saying what kind of a person probably called animal services. And he goes, yeah, probably some loser, some loser that's like a cashier at like a drugstore, some kind of loser, it's a loser, some loser that's barely getting by, that's working a minimum wage job, just talking down about people. And LBL boasts into the camera, goes, see, that's my kid. Like she's so proud that she taught him to look down at people who make minimum wage, look down at people who are barely making it, look down on them, to look down on them like they are lesser than. Now the joke is that his mom's on damn welfare and has been on for decades, and he's been raised completely on welfare and taxpayer money. So, what has his mom done? And what is he doing? Because I don't know that he's really making it well, because she's had to have bag-a-thons on his behalf, and he's getting full financial aid through the government. So what's that saying about him and her and the way that they've lived? I'd say barely getting by is what it is, but you know what? Who knows about all the scams they have? Who knows? But yeah, it's pretty disgusting. And then the fact that she's recently admitted to being on Tramadol, Vicodin, Ambien, and Xanax, and she drinks in front of all of us while openly taking all of those, and saying she has to rewatch television shows because she's on so much Ambien that she can't remember what the TV show was on the night before. So when she wants to sit there and say that her son is not a drug addict because she raised him right. Oh yeah, you raised him right to sit there and look down on people and see how scummy they are if they have a minimum wage job, or if they're like a cashier at a grocery store or a drug store. They're disgusting, right? While you sit there and you drink with him and bring in your fucking jar of olives because the olives aren't even good enough in the bar for you, and you sit there and you mix alcohol with Tramadol, Vicodin, Ambien, and Xanax. Who's a fucking loser here and who's a drug addict? Yeah. So she does all of that in front of her son, but that's raising him right and doesn't put him at risk of ever being a drug addict, And she says that anybody who has a child who's an addict, they didn't raise him right, but she raised him right. So she's so proud of the way that she raised him right, to look down upon others and taught him that the only thing of value is how much money you have and how much money you will make. And yeah, so gotta say that. Interesting, huh? So, anywho, on that note, Jules has been working overtime with all of the videos she does. She does so good, right? She knows how to edit things, and just the way she talks. Like I said, Jules is a fine lady. I really like her, even though I've never met her. She's my BFF. She's my boo. Okay? And anyway, she did this video today, right? She did 2 videos today. She did the one where LBL got fired by email from the physical therapy department. Well, if you recall, she would not leave the physical therapy department. That physical therapy department needed an assistant, and she kept telling them, oh, she could do this and she could do that, and she'd work there for free and she'd do all this. And now I'm pretty sure that's the one where they said, okay, you can work there, or she got a different job at a different physical therapy office. I'm not sure, because I had not seen this video before, but I know she was desperately trying to get a job at the physical therapy office where she had gotten her physical therapy. So anyway, Jules shows this thing where LBL shows the frickin' email from where she got fired from, and it said, oh, hi, LBL. Unfortunately, we have decided to go in a different direction. We've decided to fill this position with somebody with a little more qualifications and a little bit more experience with actual medical coding that's more suited to the position. I do apologize, and I certainly wouldn't want to do this over email, but my wife is ill, and so I had no choice but to do it this way. Thank you so much, and I'd be happy to go ahead and give you a reference for any temporary job that you might have. We appreciate what you did give to us. Bye-bye. Okay? Ooh, well, the LBL went, and she went for the jugular. She went back to him, and she gave him this fiery email, right? And this fiery email is a very much of a veiled threat of her suing them, okay? She starts out with, well, now that I have thought about this, I did not get my a 15-minute break in which I am entitled to at this point and this point. I did not get this, okay? So she's saying, I worked, you did not give me a break. That is code word for, I am going to sue you. I'm going to turn you into the labor board. You did not give me my break, which is allowed to me by law. So she said in there that she needs to be compensated for that. And she expects compensation further for she stayed an extra 15 minutes here and an extra 15 minutes there, blah, blah, blah. So she wants him to basically cough up a check. She wants a severance pay for working there for one frickin' week. She just goes in and just goes, and you know that they're just going, dear God, we dodged a frickin' bullet. And then she's like, I want my belongings, and I will not drive the 13 miles to get my belongings. And it turns out that her belongings were her baby wipes. So what? She goes and she has to set up camp wherever she works. She has to go and get their special ass wipes. She probably has to frickin' have like a full-fledged mop to get up in there and put some frickin' baby wipes in there to just attach them to and go with the pole. And that big ol' ass probably shits all the time like a frickin' elephant. I don't understand it. How you would have a butt I don't understand a butt like that. And then, the way that she sits there and walks, she walks like, a toddler. She toggles around. And she says, oh, yeah, make fun of my limp. It's because I had the surgery. They make fun of my limp because I had a surgery. No. People who have had knee replacements don't have a limp because they have a brand new knee. People who have had those surgeries do not have a limp. No, they don't. And if they do have a limp, they need to go and work that out in physical therapy. Okay? You don't have a limp. It's just you're fat. Think of that fat ass and undercarriage and mud flaps and cellulite and all that fat. Think of that fat. It's like a couch attached to a frickin', I don't know. I don't even understand all the body parts she has. Frickin' brontosaurus. She has the bones of a brontosaurus, and that's just bones. I don't get how the butt is that big. But if the butt is that big and the two leg bones, the two legs, the hips and the pelvis, if they're trying to walk, all of that is waddling in between and stuck in between. That's why she limps. It has nothing to do with having knee replacements, but she has to be a victim. Oh, they're making fun of me because of it. You know that at the physical therapy department, that they freaking got rid of her because she probably was sitting there trying to tell everybody about all of her surgeries. And then probably somebody come in and be like, they have knee pain. She's like, oh, well, if you have the surgery, I have the surgery. And basically they cut your leg off. And they cut your leg off. So you're sitting there with no leg at all. And then they cut it off. And then they reattach your leg. Because that's the way she describes it. And then she makes it sound like she's got like an old roller skate attached in there, those big old metal roller skates with wheels. Because she sits there and she says, oh yeah, I've got 13 pounds of metal in each one. It's like, shut up. Do not. You do not. You don't. But of course, just like her filthy fucking elbows, she has to say that, oh, they make fun of my elbows because I have psoriasis there. And no. You have filthy fucking elbows because you refuse to moisturize. She will talk about how she does not like to moisturize, nor does she like sunblock. She has some kind of weird thing, with, I think it's a sensory thing. I think there's really something wrong with her. It's like a sensory thing where she just won't put lotion on. I don't know. But, I mean, they say that the elbows are the, I don't know, when they say they're like the exact reflection of a woman's nipples. Like if you cross your arms in front of you, it looks like nipples. Your elbows look like nipples. So if hers are fucking filthy and they're out there for everybody to see, any man is gonna be like, you dirty fuck. You dirty fuck. You probably have filthy dinner plate looking nipples. Okay, that's why no man, you have to, I mean, it's not easy because I do think elbows are like the accumulation of all dead skin in your body, like everywhere in your body, like crawls to your elbows and like sloughs off. And it's not easy keeping your elbows not looking disgusting. You have to put lotion on your elbows quite a bit and a lemon and baking soda every once in a while. It's not easy. Okay, but you have to do it because you don't want people looking at your elbows like that and being like, nasty nipple woman. I mean, when I lived in Vegas for a while, it was really bad. Like, you'd see people with their arms out in convertibles and everything. And their elbows were just disgusting. And I kept a bottle of lotion because every time I would see it, I would just remind myself to put lotion on my... And I got to the point where I wanted to just kind of get out of the car and start putting lotion on other people's elbows or give them a squirt of lotion and just kind of try to make the elbows look better. But I mean, it's a problem for everybody. It doesn't mean that you are a victim of some skin condition, but just like her limp, she wants to have herself be a victim of everything. And it's so fucking stupid. Oh, anyway, I can't even imagine that physical therapy department and how horrified they were after having her there for a week. And she kept saying how, well, anybody, she wasn't trained right, and it is their duty to train her and train the trainee in the way that the trainee learns and not the opposite, and that she is a far better learner than anybody, and that's fine that they don't want her. She'll go on and she'll get a better job and they'll be sorry, and she doesn't want their reference. And I mean, they are just going, oh my God. So then what, they had to send her a check to get her off their ass and send her freaking baby wipes, because she probably kept going in the bathroom and making her vlogs while she's taking a big shit with her baby wipes. Nasty. And then, oh, she didn't get a break. Is she ever not on a break? Can you imagine her working? What does she actually do? What does she consider working? We've never seen her with the ability to pick up a mop. Windex? Cloth? No. She thinks that she can type so well and she can type all this and everything. Well, if she's going back to school, it shows that all of the colleges she's went to, she never finished any of them. Because what would you possibly be going back to school for if you already possessed your bachelor's degree? Would you really need a master's right now when you can't even get a job at, well, the most basic secretary, entry-level secretary? She's tried for every retail job that has normal-looking people working at them. They won't hire her. She lasted, a week at Walmart? But of course, they were going to basically put her in charge of the Walmart. But she said that she knew what chemicals they were using to make the Walmart bathroom smell good because she knew. I don't fucking know. Who knows? But anyway, the next one that Jules did, she did the Orlando one. And Jules said that, because she wasn't feeling good, she actually made a little error and did not put on the audio for LBL's side. Now, I watched the Orlando video and it was horrible. And as, in the comments, somebody did just look at it and assumed it was a man. They didn't realize it was LBL even talking. They thought Orlando was a man because they didn't realize it was her talking to a viewer that was in Orlando. And I mean, it was just so rude. It was like all about her, and it just gives you a insight on how little she actually cared about her son and what her son wanted to do. Just that everything, even in Orlando, was about what she wanted to do. She expected him to just be hanging out at the pool where she's like, look at my swimsuit. Look at me. Look at my nails. Look at my jewelry. She's with this viewer, this person who'd been viewing her or whatever, right? And she keeps cutting this poor woman off. This poor woman's trying to make normal conversation, and she keeps cutting off like it's show and tell with LBL every day, right? It's like, look at my hair. Look at my nails. Look at my jewelry. Look at my swimsuit. Look at me. Look at me. Oh, Burke's drunk. Burke's drunk. Burke's drunk. She kept saying Burke is drunk around all these people. So people are looking at her like, what? And she's like, no, I'm drunk. Does beer have I want your beer. Does beer have carbonation? Oh yeah. Oh, see, I just made a laugh and that shows I'm drunk. I mean, it just went on and on and on, and she was just so obstinate and just kept trying to make the conversation be about her. She kept moving the camera to only show her and not the other person. It is the most bizarre thing how she wants the camera on herself at all times. At all times. She is the most self-centered weirdo. Absolute fucking weirdo. You know what I mean? Absolute fucking weirdo. And how does she do that? Has anybody came up and been like, oh yeah, who are you wearing? Oh, and who wears a necklace with their name on it? And when she crashed poor Burke's graduation, or not well, she crashed the graduation too, but the prom, and she goes up to those parents, and like, oh, now what's your name? She's like, it's Lori. See, I'm wearing a Lori necklace. Like, to put the person down, like they didn't look at her and sound out the frickin' name on the thing. Because why? Why would you put your name on a necklace? Well, the same reason why she goes and puts exactly where she lives and shows exactly where she lives, so then she can tell everybody that, oh, everybody stalks her and everybody doxes her and everything. No, she tells everybody everything about herself. That's it. That's it. So, the Orlando video, so you can hear Jules' commentary, which actually makes the video good, because you can hear what Jules is saying and you understand enough about, what's being said back and forth. You don't really need the other one. If you can spare yourself from having to hear it, you should, because it's just so stupidly obnoxious. Just typical LBL. So Jules did put in the comments the original video. So it's worthwhile to watch the original and then watch the way she does it. And to me, it's just so bizarre because, like, I never went anywhere. I've been a mom for 33 years, and I have never went anywhere thinking of what I wanted to do where I was there. Like, never once thought, oh, this is what I would like to see when I was there, when I go there. It was all about what I would take the kids to. Like, I never once sat at a pool by myself and had my kids go off while I sat there and filmed myself. I took the kids where they wanted to go and helped them. Like, I don't know, I guess I parented backward, and I don't know. I guess because she's got the love of her son, I have no idea. But anyway, when we lived in Southern California, we went to SeaWorld once, and you could pay a little bit more to get the annual membership. And I did that just every afternoon. I'd just drive on down to SeaWorld, and it was really cool because they had like these big play structures, and the kids could dig for seashells all day long. And I would just, like get up and take them 2 or 3 times a week, just get up and just drive down there. And I mean, I took my kids to every park, every day that I could, and had them just run and play and learn from sun up to sundown. So they were absolutely exhausted, by the time we'd get home. And boy, were they tan and everything, but never once I don't even think I put on a swimsuit. I don't think I put on jewelry or did my hair. Like a ponytail, maybe. Just watching her sitting there on her ass and yelling that about the kids and what she wanted to drink and what she wanted to eat. It was just, like I say, I just totally backwards from the way I parented. But mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling. But on this, I've been going for about an hour. I will stop for now. I've got other talking points I'd like to get to too, but I don't want to bore you guys too much and go on and on. But let's all send Jules positive vibes to feel better. And one more quick point. And I'm going to put this in the beginning too. Neither Jules nor I make a cent off of doing this. Okay. I think I have 131 viewers, and I have 131 really good, smart, engaged viewers. And I love you all and all the love and support you give me. Thank you so much. And I don't know how many Jules has. Neither of us have ads running, and I think that when you start getting ads running is when you start getting some revenue for your content, but I don't know because I don't know how it's done. LBL makes money because of her hashtagging that she's done to exploit views and the subscribers that she's gotten. She's got over 10,000 subscribers. So I don't know at what point you start making money or get advertisements, but rest assured, we do not. I have never received a super chat. Jules has never received a super chat. When somebody did offer, Jules did have them give a donation to the cat shelter. So, both Jules and I work for nothing. We work for the truth and we fight for the truth. So when her minions are coming over with this cockamamie idea that we're doing it to make money, we don't make a cent. She's the one making cent. She's the one making money off of what she does. We've not made a cent. That is 100% true. Now, I'm getting kind of mad, and I wonder if this happens with mine, but with Jules, the second that hers are over, there's a YouTube ad. And it pisses me off because YouTube is like, they won't monetize hers, she's not getting anything. But the second hers ends, so the viewers who are watching are certainly getting looped into an ad. But, what are you going to do? Fight YouTube? Yeah, good luck. Good luck. So anyway, have an excellent evening and an excellent week. And I might pop another part in here because I was still owing you guys a part 2 the other day. So who knows? Maybe this will be a part 2. I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much for listening and all of the support for me and Jules. And keep spreading the truth to everybody you know. That's how we win. Bye-bye.